RotoGrinders Today. I'm Gruden Cooper, a.k.a. BlenderHD. You're going to follow me on Twitter. And it's Wednesday, December 4th, and I'm alone. I'm doing it solo this morning. Alex Santi couldn't make it this morning, so I'll be doing it by myself. Can you trust me? I think you can trust me. I used to do this show all the time by myself, and we'll be taking a look at a first look. A little midweek update on the NFL Week 14 slate for DraftKings and FanDuel. So hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. Give me those thumbs. I need extra ones for being here by myself. So give me those like buttons. Like button, subscribe button, and the notification bell. Hit everything on the screen. Definitely also hit the link in the description. Get a $40 off your first month of combo premium here at RotoGrinders. I'll bring that up on the screen right now. The projections team will be okay. That's the wrong one. Okay, here we go. There we go. Projections team is still working on our midweek update as far as projections are concerned, because we do still have Taysom Hill in here and Dallas Goedert. We said some of the injured players still in here. So taking a first look at the slate, primarily from a high ownership, kind of a cash game perspective, if you want to put it that way. Like who are most likely going to be kind of the top plays on the slate on both sites. I'm going to do DraftKings and FanDuel since I am here by myself. Need to spend some time on this. We see the totals here in Lineup HQ. Obviously, once our projections team starts updating projections, we'll also have sim labs available. So you could run, all different types of contests and what types of lineups go with what. You could adjust your settings all you want. If you just want a combo light package, so you don't get lineup HQ, you're not going to make 150 lineups. Although you can in lineup HQ, you can in sim labs. But if you just want sim labs and our premium written content, that's the combo light package. So it's a much cheaper. You don't get the prop stuff. You don't get the pick'em stuff. You don't get, MMA. You don't get some of the college football and stuff like that. Just the four major sports. So check that out by clicking on the link in the description below. But we got some decent totals on this coming slate. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, right? Because we have a bunch of teams on bye, which is kind of weird, right? Week 14 there's tons of buys in December. Okay, whatever. It's the NFL schedule. Miami is a decent favorite over the Jets, 25.5 point implied total. The Vikings, 25.5 point implied total. Obviously, we got the Eagles, big favorites, 12-point home favorites, 29 point implied total over the Panthers. So they're probably a team we're going to be looking at. The Steelers, 25, a nice healthy 25.25 implied team total. Tampa Bay, 26.25 implied team total as of now. The Titans-Jaguars game looks like one of the lower totals on the slate. Buffalo has a 27-point implied total. Arizona-Seattle, 44.5. We got the 49ers actually, they're a 4-point home favorite with all those injuries. McCaffrey, Mason, Debo doesn't look all that great. Ayuk is gone for the season, right? You got the offensive line, defense issues and everything. They still have a healthy 24-point implied total. So that doesn't look that bad. And we're going to go to quarterback first on DraftKings. Obviously these projections have not been updated, so I'm just using this as a guideline. Obviously, if you get up to Jalen Hurts, I probably 7,800 Jalen Hurts, I'm going to assume the highest raw projected quarterback on the slate. Are we going to be able to play Jalen Hurts on DraftKings in our cash lineup? I'm not sure about that. Maybe more so on FanDuel, but we'll take a look at that afterwards. I think much more likely will be in the semi mid-range. Because obviously Josh Allen's there at 8K. Probably would rather play Hurts. But probably, Baker Mayfield 6,400 against Las Vegas. Not all that bad. Sam Darnold against Atlanta, 6,100. Matthew Stafford against Buffalo. Maybe not Stafford. I'm typically not going to play. I try at least not to play like underdog quarterbacks as much. But Stafford at 5,700 isn't that bad. I guess if you go really cheap, probably Will Levis against Jacksonville. ain't bad at 5,000. Then you got like guys like Kyler Murray, who would like the Kyler Murray. It's like he should 6K. If I told you that Kyler Murray last year, he's going to be 6K in a favored matchup at home against Seattle, you'd be plugging him in all day because of his rushing equity and everything like that. But I mean, Kyler Murray's outcomes have been all over the place. I mean, he threw the ball 50 times last week, and then 260 and a touchdown or something. I mean, Geno on the other side of the game is okay. Then we got Russell Wilson at 5,900. I'm not a big Russell Wilson person, even though he obviously exploded last week. I think he'll end up being popular, but I think much more likely will be in that kind of range for cash games. At least like more projection oriented lineups. Maybe Sam Darnold. Maybe Sam Darnold. Probably. I mean, they all have healthy team totals. I mean, Tampa Bay 26, Minnesota 25. But obviously, if you could get up to Jalen Hurts with the 29-point implied total, pretty much the whole offense is going to be like Hurts, Barkley, AJ Brown. We'll have to see if Devonta Smith comes back. He was close last week, so maybe he'll be back. But I'm probably sticking in the around 6K, right? I could see Geno, Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold. I could see that level being popular. I'm going to plug this in right now. I'll put in Sam Darnold for now. Then we go to running back. And running back, obviously, one thing has not been updated in here. You can see Chris McCaffrey is in the projections. He's out for the season. I'm going to assume once they update, Isaac Guerendo at 5,400 on DraftKings is going to project extremely well, especially since the 49ers are still 4-point home favorites against the Bears with a 24-point implied team total. And you have to think that Guerendo is going to get most of the work. I mean, they'll probably call up like Patrick Taylor from the practice squad. Obviously, Kyle Juszczyk will mix in, as a fullback, maybe catch a ball out of the backfield. Debo obviously could rush the ball, although since he's come back from pneumonia, he does not look good. Debo Samuel does not look good at all. But he will be extremely popular, Isaac Guerendo. On FanDuel, he's going to be absurdly popular because he's only 5,200 there. We'll get to FanDuel. So I'm assuming Guerendo is going to be like kind of like you're going to be plugging him in 5,400. Probably ends up touching the ball 20 plus times for the 49ers. Then from there, with no Taysom Hill for the Saints, it's not like they have a huge point total. They have a 22.75 implied point total against the Giants in New York. I prefer them in the Superdome, but the Giants with Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito, or even if they pull someone off the street, they're not good. They're not good. And what are the Saints going to do now without Taysom Hill? I mean, essentially, it's the Kamara show. I know Kamara's been chalked the past couple of weeks also, even with Taysom Hill. But now that you don't have, Taysom Hill, getting touchdowns, rushing the ball, whatever. I know Kendre Miller may actually be back. He may get some work out of the backfield. But I think no Taysom Hill definitely is a big positive for Alvin Kamara at 8,000 in a favorite spot. I think he will be very popular. So plugging him in at 8K. Then the other running backs on the slate, I mean, I always like Bijan at 7,500. I'm not sure if you could fit that in. The Atlanta only has a 20-point implied total, so its touchdown equity kind of goes down a little bit. But I don't mind Bijan Robinson. Kyren 7,300. I mean, we saw Blake Corum kind of work in a little bit more. But underdog position against Buffalo. I know you'd probably much more rather run against Buffalo than pass. But still kind of an underdog position. Walker has, I don't know, Walker's not been as much in himself the past couple of weeks. No big runs. I know he catches more balls out of the backfield now, but they've been mixing in Charbonnet a lot more. So, I mean, you obviously have like Chuba Hubbard in a 17-point implied total against Philadelphia. He's going to get work for the Panthers, but I don't know how much of a ceiling there is there. Breece Hall, I mean, I don't know if Breece Hall is even going to play. Yeah, we may get Braylon Allen. How much is Braylon Allen? If 5K. But of course they've been mixing in like kind of like Isaiah Davis. That backfield could end up being a mess. Malachi Corley, these types of guys, and the Jets are pretty much done. The Jets, I've said I've said almost every week on this show, right? The Jets are bad. The Jets are bad. They're really bad. You got Bucky Irving, 6,600. His price has come up. I think he'll end up being popular, but do people realize that like Rachaad White, they're split. Bucky Irving is not the lead back of the Buccaneers. Like Rachaad White was getting carries. Like they're splitting, and then you got Sean Tucker in there as well. So although it's a good spot against Las Vegas, will he run as good as he did last week? If he does, 6,600 is great. I think I'm much more likely to look. I think Aaron Jones. I mean that's iffy. Also, Aaron Jones at 6,500. Vikings are in a favorite spot against Atlanta inside in the dome, so I probably don't mind Aaron Jones that much. Obviously, Saquon Barkley at 9K. I mean, you always have Jalen Hurts touchdown. That takes away from his projection. But if Saquon Barkley put up 255 yards, Carolina's the team to do it against. Maybe he does. Another guy that may end up projecting a little bit better is Najee Harris. I mean, because we got like Najee Harris, James Conner, right, 6,700. I think he's okay. Devon Achane at 8,200. I think he's fine in a favorite spot with the Dolphins. I think I'd rather play Kamara over Achane, but maybe that ends up being close. But I think Najee Harris, even though it's much more of a split than you think, even if you look at the box score with Jaylen Warren. But Pittsburgh, has a healthy total against Cleveland. And, he is catching a lot more balls out of the backfield than he used to. So I don't mind Najee Harris if we're going to play like three running backs. But I think Garendo and Kamara are clearly the top two plays as of now on DraftKings. Let's go to wide receiver. We go to wide receiver. Now, we got guys that are out, in and out. So I'm going to go like team by team to see what we got here. So are we going to play a Jets receiver? Probably not. Wilson, Adams. They're there against Miami. Then of course, Tyreek Hill. Is he ever going to get there? Who knows? 7,100. Favorite spot against the Jets. I'd be looking at Dolphins this week, although they, we last year, if we said Tyreek Hill was 7,100, we'd be plugging him like there's no tomorrow. But, they're spreading the ball out a lot more than they used to, right? Jonnu Smith has become a thing, right? Jalen Waddle is kind of dead, but whatever. So maybe not Miami. Atlanta, Drake London, 6,400. He's fine, right? Then you got like Justin Jefferson, 7,800. It's the cheapest we've seen Justin Jefferson, 7,800. But is he going to get there? I don't know. He's okay, right? New Orleans has I don't even know who the hell's catching the ball for the Saints. No Taysom Hill. No, I'm probably Jawan. When we get to tight end, it's not more likely I look at Jawan Johnson. The Giants have no total, so I'm probably going to stay away from the Giants. We go to Carolina. Carolina actually could be interesting. Are we going back to David Moore to play do we need a cheap wide receiver? Because these wide receivers are cheap. They're going to have to throw the ball, obviously. You got Leggett at 4,900, Thielen at 5,300. I think, Thielen may not be that bad of a play. As long as he's healthy, which it seems to be, Bryce Young is going to basically use him as that possession receiver that, like he was on the Vikings. Right. And we've seen Adam Thielen on the Panthers. Like as of last year, he got up to like an 8K salary because he's a PPR scam. Right. That's what people say. Right. Eight for 60. Right. 10 for 72. That type of line. But hey, it's cash games. It's 5,300. I think Adam Thielen may end up being a play this week. I think I'd rather have him than David Moore. I'm not sure if we're going to need like a cheap receiver. I'm not sure if there is a cheap punt receiver. Then we go to Philadelphia. AJ, the problem with Philadelphia is that the Eagles is that they just don't throw the ball enough, right? So it's like even if Goddard's out, even if Goddard and Smith is out, I'd love to play AJ Brown, but it's quite possible in a game against the Panthers they just run the ball 80% of the time, right? And then it's Barkley and Hurts, and that's it. Then we go to Pittsburgh. George Pickens at 6,800. Probably not bad. It's probably not bad in a favorite spot against Cleveland. I think that's okay. He'll probably project decently. The Cleveland side, if we don't have Cedric Tillman in, and the Browns are an underdog. We obviously have seen Jameis Winston will chuck the ball. I mean, they will just throw. So I think Judy, Moore, I think when we get to tight end, Njoku, I think these guys are fine. I mean, Elijah Moore at 4,800 is in like that same range as Thielen. I'm assuming that 18.75 implied total. It's not great, but I mean, for cash games, like it's not like the Browns, it's not like Jameis Winston is not going to chuck the ball, right? He's going to throw the ball at least 30, 40 times. It's got to go to some of these guys. So do you have the money for Judy? Would you rather play Elijah Moore? I think you're probably playing a Brown. If Tillman is out, you're probably playing a Brown in your cash game lineup, right? Because, I mean, the wide receiver pricing this year on DraftKings has been like, they don't give you much value. You get much more value at the other positions. So I think Elijah Moore, let's plug in Elijah Moore in there for now. Tampa Bay, I think if I'm going to, it's come to this, is that if I'm going to play a wide receiver at like the 7K range, you play Pickens at 6,800, Tyreek at 7,100. I think you play Mike Evans at 7,200. I think without Godwin there, or whatever, just Mike Evans has just basically become the alpha. So I think Evans may end up projecting better than those other two players also. Right? I think Evans may project better than Tyreek, better than Pickens, better than whoever, but obviously the Jets receivers. Evans may project as well as Justin Jefferson on the slate. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe Mike Evans will project as good as A.J. Brown. I'm not sure with the 29-point implied total for the Eagles because of the touchdown equity, but Tampa Bay isn't that far behind. It's less than 3 points behind. So I think if you're going to pay up for wide receiver, Mike Evans may be that pay up option on Las Vegas. Obviously, you got like Jacoby Myers. I think Jacoby Myers is fine here against Tampa Bay. I mean, it's one of these things where like you're probably going to play two, right? Or one, at least one, right? We haven't gotten to all the games here even. You're going to play like one or two of like the Myers, Thielen, Elijah Moore, Judy, like that kind of tier of wide receiver. So it could be any of these types of guys. But Myers is fine at Tampa Bay. Would I rather play Thielen or would I rather play Myers? Maybe Myers. Would I rather play Myers and Moore? Maybe. I don't know. Put it in for now. Jacksonville. Obviously, Brian Thomas at 5,800 is pretty decent. Of course, Mac Jones will probably be the quarterback. Typically, concussion protocol, they don't play the next week after that hit that Trevor Lawrence took. But yeah, Brian Thomas is obviously in play at 5,800. Similar type of, I mean, it's essentially similar types of spots as like Myers and Thielen and these guys. They're on teams that are underdogs that have less than 20-point implied totals. They're in the 5K range, and they probably going to see 7, 8, 9 targets. And it just comes down to, do they bring it down? Do they score a touchdown? But probably decent floors. Like for cash game lineups, probably decent floors. And you're going to be picking like 2 or 3 of these types of guys, right? We can look at Tennessee, Calvin Ridley, same situation. So it's a similar 5,700, right in that range, right? You're going to pick like 2 of these guys. Would you rather play Myers or you rather play Ridley? With Tennessee being favored, maybe you end up playing Ridley over Myers. Play a bunch of these. It's quite possible that you play it down. You play one of these guys in the flex also, right? And you don't play 3 running backs, but we'll see how that turns out. Right, got Seattle in here. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba and Metcalf are kind of in this range also, right? A little bit more expensive. Arizona, probably not. Marvin Harrison Jr., I know you're trying to make it happen. Probably not a cash game play. Probably something more GPP oriented. Then we go to Buffalo. Khalil Shakir, probably more of an option on FanDuel. I think he's fine. The Rams. You got Nakua and Kupp. Kupp is the cheapest he's ever been, right? 7K. I think I'd still rather play Mike Evans. Would you rather play Puka Nakua? I still rather play Mike Evans. I just because the Buccaneers have a higher implied point total. Right? The Rams are underdogs. So I'm not rushing out to play Puka at 7,700 when I have options like I have Justin Jefferson at 7,800. I got who else? AJ Brown is a little bit more expensive. Like I want to play. I tend to lean towards the guys on teams that are going to score points, going to score a bunch of touchdowns and stuff like that, more so than not. Then we go to Chicago. We got guys like this in like Keenan Allen, 5,600. Very similar range to like the Ridleys and the Judys and the Myers and these types of guys. I think that he's going to be in play. And then I think Juwan Jennings falls into that kind of spot also at 5,200. Right? Debo's 5,900. Oh, and he hasn't done anything. So maybe a GPP play. But I could see Juwan Jennings 5,200. You could throw him in the mix as well. Yeah, and you could in a cash game line, you can play Garendo in this lineup as well. So looking like this for now. And then we go to tight end. Let's go to tight end. Obviously, Taysom is out. Evan Ingram, I guess, is fine if you're going to pay up a little. Obviously, Goddard is out as well. Jonnu Smith at 5,300. He's a thing, right? I think the option is going to end up being, if you're going to pay down, it's going to be Juwan Johnson with no Taysom Hill and a receiving core of no ones. Essentially, one big play by MVS. That's about it for the receiving core. I think Juwan Johnson. Even with Taysom Hill in, Juwan Johnson, I think played 80+% of the snaps anyway. So I think he's going to be pretty good play against the Giants. So if you pay down there, then at DST before we could fill in a flex. Let's take a look from what's the cheap defense that we'll probably end up playing. Let's see. You got the Jaguars, I guess. Falcons against Minnesota. Giants. Seahawks, Saints. I'm not necessarily sure what that's gonna be. The Titans against Jacksonville, maybe the Titans. Do we remember the Titans? It's quite possible. We could put that in. How much money do we have left? See, 6,600. This is pretty easy now. You could play like Aaron Jones in the flex spot here, right? You could go up and down. If you didn't want to play Ridley and Moore, you wanted to play Judy and Myers and whatever. I think you could fit. I think it's going to be a week something more like this. Obviously, if you want to get up to Hurts, you can, but then you're not playing a 3 running back build. You're going to end up playing a 2 tight end build. So I think this is kind of the construction right now that we're going. Also, if you don't want to play Evans, if you want to play like 3 of these guys, like 3 guys in that, like we put Jacoby Myers in here, and now you have 8,200. You could find a way to get up to Saquon Barkley and play Barkley, Kamara, Garendo if you want. It's possible, right? You go down a little here, you go down defense. You could find the 800, right? You can find 500 here. You go from Darnold. You can go to Levitt. Like, for instance, you can play like Will Levis, right? Will Levis in this spot and then play like Barkley in this lineup if you want to pay down and play both Kamara and Barkley. Or who's the other running back at like 82, like Achan or something like that. It's doable. I think the opportunity cost at wide receiver is not going to be that great this week. Like do you need Justin Jefferson? Do you need Mike Evans? Do you need Puka Nacua? Do you need AJ Brown? I don't know. You may be able to get by on multiple guys in that 5K range because truthfully, they all seem to be decent plays, right? In the wide receiver range. We take a look at the wide receiver that we already mentioned, right? We got Brian Thomas at 5,800. I think he's fine. Jerry Jeudy, 5,700. Calvin Ridley, 5,700. Keenan Allen, 5,600. Jacoby Myers, 5,600. Adam Thielen, 5,200. Juwan Jennings, 5,200. Elijah Moore, 4,800. I think you can play 3 of these guys. And maybe you don't need a high-end wide receiver. You can just spend up. You have Garendo at 5,400 already at running back, and you just spend up for the other 2 running backs. And that may be the build. Or you go up at tight end and you play like Brock Bowers or something, or Trey McBride. I don't think that's necessarily the way to go to pay up at tight end as of now. But I think I'm much more likely to pay a little bit down at least. Hawkinson maybe pay a little bit more. I think Juwan Johnson is going to end up. The projections have not been updated, but I'm going to guess that Juwan Johnson at 3,400 is going to be like the cheaper end tight end that is going to be popular. And then let's go over to FanDuel and see if there are any really big differences there, pricing wise. So we take a look at salary. go over to quarterbacks. So like the same type, like obviously Jalen Hurts 9,200. If you can get up there, that would be great. But let's see, the difference is like Darnold is 7,600, Geno Smith 7,400, Stafford's down here, Cousins 7K. You got Jameis Winston at 6,900. What's Jameis Winston on DraftKings? Winston's 5,400. Okay, so not that huge of a difference. Because that's what I like seeing. It's like what's the like when you're getting a significant more discount on one side versus the other, right? Who's cheaper, right? I mean, Will Levis has to be like absurdly cheap here, like 6,600 for Will Levis. Maybe you punt all the way down for Will Levis on DraftKings. See, like Russell Wilson is more expensive than Sam Darnold or Geno Smith on FanDuel, right? So let's see. If we play, I mean, Herbert's there also. You get the Chargers Chiefs game. So I can see you playing Herbert on FanDuel against the Chiefs. And then let's take a look at running back. Now, obviously, you got Garendo. I mean, it's not updated in the projections, but 5,200 for Garendo on FanDuel is like he's pretty much a minimum price guy. So like he's gonna be amazingly uber 8 million% owned, right? And then Kamara's up at 9,200. Achan's 8,700. Let's go down to let's see on the bottom here. Okay. Let's start like the first guy. You got like obviously the Chiefs running back situation. They're splitting the backfield. Najee Harris at 6,900 may end up being pretty good. Aaron Jones at 7,300. See, they priced up Bucky Irving at 7,700. Yeah, I mean, obviously McCaffrey's not in. You do you play Kamara? Do you play Barkley? Do you play either of these guys? Do you pay down? Because I think Harris at 6,900 is pretty good. I think Aaron Jones at 7,300 is pretty good. Yeah, I mean that isn't that bad. Let's see what happens at wide receiver. Let's see who we're prioritizing at wide receiver. Okay, so let's go all the way down and see what we got available. Obviously, you got let's see even more. Elijah Moore 5,600. Maybe the cheapest you go. Let's see what else do we got here. So I'm plugging Elijah Moore, and then we got Adam Thielen 5,900. Let's see. Jerry Jeudy, 6,100. Right. Calvin Ridley, 6,300. Jawan Jennings, 6,400. See, this is the zone that we'd be living in. Khalil Shakir is always a little bit cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. You got obviously you got Ladd McConkey at 7K. He's playable. Right. Then we start getting up to now. I mean, are you paying 8K for JSN? Probably not. Are you paying 8,600 for Puka? Like, it's quite possible you don't have to play like these high-end like wide receivers on FanDuel at all. Right? Malik Neighbors, you're not paying 8,300 for, right? Pickens may be fine at 7,500. I feel like you'd still be in the 6K range. Like you'd play like a Shakir, right? You don't even have to play Elijah Moore. You can play Jeudy instead, right? You play Jeudy, Shakir, Ridley, like some type of lineup like this. You end up paying up at tight end, right? So let's take a look at tight end. I mean, this is kind of like I'm putting together a dummy cash lineup. Essentially, that's what we're looking to do here. You got Kittle, you got McBride, you got Kelsey. Obviously, Taysom's not playing. Njoku, 6,200. Obviously, Goddard's not in. Evan Ingram, 5,900. Like, Juwan Johnson's 5,400 here. Like, it's so much. Juwan Johnson is 3,400, and then Evan Ingram is like 4,800. Like, the gap is not big enough that you're probably not, like, going down at tight end here. So you're much more likely to just go up, right? Trey McBride, 7,200. Kelsey, 6,800. I mean, plugging Kelsey at 6,800 over here. What defenses do we have? I mean, what is the Titans D? Titans D is 4K. We go all the way down. We got let's see. Rams against Buffalo. The Bears against San Francisco. Cardinals defense may be okay. Chiefs defense. Chargers defense. Let's just plug in the Titans. There's a 4K defense, right? 8,800. I mean, like, dude, you could play wherever you want at this point, right? Or you go back to running back. I mean, maybe you don't go cheap at running back. You play Kamara, right? Garendo, Kamara. You got 8,400. I mean, you essentially do whatever you want, right? If you want to go up at one of the wide receiver spots, you want to come down at for the running back spots. I mean, you could play H. I mean, you could play Chan in this lineup. You go down from the Titans to whatever defense is at 3,600. You're fine. You could go up to McBride if you want. Yeah, I mean, you could play just the 6K kind of wide receivers here if you don't want to go up. And I'm not sure if there's a reason to necessarily go up as of right now. So the builds look fairly similar, other than the fact that you actually get to pay up for tight end and FanDuel because the cap is much looser, right, in comparison. But this isn't that bad, right? You're probably much more likely to play Shakir on FanDuel, much more likely to play Judy on FanDuel and Elijah Moore on DraftKings because it's a $900 difference on DraftKings and it's only a $500 difference on FanDuel. This is assuming that Cedric Tillman is out. Okay. So this looks like a pretty good first look. Kind of what do my cash lineups kind of look like? What are the popular plays going to kind of look like? We're still waiting on news, obviously. I mean, we got who knows? Who knows what happens? Someone's in, someone's out, someone doesn't play, right? As of right now, we're monitoring Cedric Tillman for the Browns. We're going to see what happens with Devonta Smith for the Eagles. See what the 49ers are planning on doing. I mean, you have to think it's Isaac Garendo, right? They're not going to call up like two guys from the practice squad and split a three-headed monster. Probably not, right? We have to see what's going on with what else? Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence, I guess. There's some other people around, right? Breece Hall, right? Breece Hall, I don't think practiced yesterday. See what's going on there because maybe if he doesn't play, Braylon Allen may end up being a play also, and we get two cheap running backs. And what is Braylon Allen's price on FanDuel? Braylon Allen's 52. Yeah, I mean this would be, I mean, dude, the lineups would be like absurdly. Everyone's going to look the same. Like Garendo Allen, right? He's 5K? I think he's 5K on DraftKings, right? If you get something like that and you get to play like Braylon Allen and Isaac Garendo, I mean, like everyone's lineup's going to look the same, right? You play Kamara, right? You do something like this, and then I mean, look how much money you have left. You could play anyone you want at this point, right? And then other running backs are going to be way, way lower owned. Right, there's going to be a lot of leverage by not playing this type of construction. But I don't want to get ahead of myself because I don't want to say, oh, Braylon Allen's a play. No, he's not. Unless Breece Hall is out, he's not a play. Don't play Braylon Allen. Okay. But what you can do is hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button since I'm the only one here. So I need some extra boost. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Hit the notification bell to know when we go live. All the stuff you saw on the screen, Lineup HQ, SimLabs. I mean, obviously, we're not running SimLabs as of now because, the projections have not been updated. You get all of that here at RotoGrinders. Get all of our tools. If you get the combo premium package, you get everything. So you get the props and pick'em stuff. You get all of our statistical projections, all of our IQ tools, Lineup HQ, SimLabs. You get who knows how much. You get tons of stuff. So click on that link in the description. Get $40 off your first month, especially with all the sports running. You got NHL, NBA. We got the college basketball. We got, I mean, you could see dude, Madden. You could get Madden Sims if you want. MMA, right? College football, soccer projections for the Premier League and Champions League. You get everything here. So join us, and also join us later for Grinders Live and Crunch Time later today. For the NBA slate, they'll be taking you from 5 p.m. Eastern all the way up until lock. But until tomorrow, I'll be on with Grant. Grant's going to join me tomorrow, talk about props and pick them for NFL Week 14. So check that out then, because I'm with you guys most weekdays, 11 o'clock Eastern, talking about all things you're thinking about in daily fantasy, props and pick them on RotoGrinders Today.